trade value, what you can get out of Dion, to me, is better than what you'll bring in for him, unless you get to select certain deal or whatever. But I still think Dion at what he can be when he decides to be it and gets there is still worth more than what you're going to bring in a trade. And I still think that he could be one of the keys to this team getting where they get. But either way, whether you're rooting for Dion or for his trade value, he did well for himself last night, and you surely hope that he can follow up on that here tonight. Cavaliers, Raptors, 7 o'clock is the tip-off at the Q for those of you guys heading down there. Tristan Thompson coming off of back-to-back double-doubles. In his past 2 games, he's combined for 35 points and 27 rebounds. 9 of those the other night on the offensive rebounding end as well. So Dion, Tristan, all big. Kevin Love, double-double, 19 and 14. He's been a double-double machine all season long as they hit those boards, as they increase their rebounding, continue passing the ball. Cavaliers beginning to grow into something quite fun to watch. I'm telling you now, you guys can argue whatever you want about how they end up the season. They're fun to watch. They really are turning into a team that you go, man, and this isn't even peak Cavaliers yet. This is not the peak of what they can be. Although, man, you're starting to see glimpses of it. But you still, flashy highlights and team play, all that's great. You still got to show that you can grind it down on defense, because when you get to the playoffs, all that other stuff goes away. And it's the teams that can play in the half court. It's the teams that can play defense, that can get the turnovers and turn it into offense. Those are the teams that win in the postseason, because the court shrinks, the pressure raises, the opportunities shrink, and you have to maximize it. That's why the offensive efficiency is a stat to keep an eye on, you guys, because that's part of it, being efficient. That's the key of the word, and that's big, efficiency in the playoffs. It's not how much you score, it's how efficient you are when you get those opportunities. So Cavaliers continuing the process, as we say, but this one a bit more fun to watch than some of the other processes that we watch around town. Cavaliers looking to stretch that streak. I'm going to go to the phones. I was getting ready to wrap it up. Somebody's on the phones. Caller, you're next up on the Fix.
J-Rock, how are you, my friend?
Hey, what's going on? This is the mayor. What's up, Vic?
Good. Hey, I think the Cavaliers team that we are now seeing is the Cavaliers team everybody assumed would be there right out of the gate. And I think we all should have, and I know coming from me, the word patience is not one that I use. I don't know. I don't know the term patience, but I think we have been patient with the Cavaliers, and this is the labor of being patient, or I should say the fruits of being patient. This is the team that we all thought that we were going to get, and they are exciting to watch. And what a bench! Waiters and Thompson coming off the bench. I don't know of a 6th and 7th man that are any better.
I got to tell you, I'm not going to sit here and turn the corner on this bench just yet, because they've had some really bad performances. But if Dion can get on track, I think Delly coming back. If Fred and AC were talking a bit about this during the game, for those of you guys that watched it, about how Delly is going to allow, because Dion's been playing a lot of point coming off the bench, and obviously he's been playing a different role. Delly lets those two be the backcourt on the second unit, but Dion can, much like Kyrie's better when he's the 2 guard than when he's the point. Same thing. Dion Waiters so much more effective. That's his natural position, and he's able to attack more. So I do like that, and I think Delly will open that up. But I still think the bench can be improved and can be strengthened. But I hear you. Love Tristan Thompson. I mean, to me, whether you're starting Andy and bringing Tristan off the bench or vice versa, that's a good advantage to have, because you don't get an energy drop-off either way. But the last couple of games, it's like a light has gone on. Maybe it's just been a couple of good games for Tristan Thompson, but he's stepped up more, and it's almost like it almost followed Kyrie. Remember, those two came in together, so they're close to each other. And I got to tell you, maybe you guys are going to go, J-Rock, you way overthink this stuff. But I saw Kyrie playing some defense and starting to improve his game, and people started giving him kudos for it, and the Cavs started winning some games and playing together, and it almost struck me like Tristan Thompson was like, hey, man, I want to buy into this too, man. What can I do to be the best piece to this team? And it's like, hey, we need you to go grab boards. We need you to grab some alley-oops. Just be this guy, that guy, this guy. He said, bam. It seems like in the last 2 weeks, all of these guys stopped trying to figure out how to play their whole game and make it fit, and they all started looking at the jigsaw puzzle and going, wait a minute. If you plug in my rebounding here and you plug in this guy's passing here and his defense here, then it becomes the jigsaw puzzle of a good team. And I think these guys are starting to figure out that we're better if we all give a piece of ourselves instead of trying to cram 12 basketball players into the whole game. You know what I mean?
I think we are better served to let LeBron James be the point man. I don't care if it's a forward or guard. Be the point man, and you see how better Irving's never had a better year than what he is now because he doesn't have to bring up the ball. He doesn't have to be the assist guy. He's basically a shooting guard, point guard. And Waiters reminds me of a guy that used to be on the Pistons years ago, Vinny Johnson.
The microwave, baby. Vinny
microwave
Johnson.
would
Absolutely.
come off the bench, shake and bake, and get you 20
Defense,
points,
too. Yeah.
and then sit back on the bench.
I agree. That's what he can be. The microwave. That's a great example. Bet you didn't know. I knew exactly who you were talking about. Teams gotta have a guy like that, you know, and he can be that guy. He can be the Dennis Johnson.
I just
you know what I mean?
Walked in. I just walked in, and I dare go to this topic. But has any announcement made as to who the number one, number two is going to be?
Well, I mean, the Browns
or...
haven't said it, but I was told 2 hours ago, right before the news broke, somebody in Berea told me about it as soon as they got done meeting with the quarterbacks. So the Browns haven't yet made a statement, but it's official. It's going to be Johnny. It's going to be number 2 starting this week for the Browns. So we'll see the beginning of what he can do. We'll find out against the Bengals. Starts this week.
You know, and you of all people, J-Rock, know, going into the exhibition season, was I not Hoyer's biggest fan? And I said, I hope to God that they give him a chance. And I was so down on Manziel. You of all people know this. Remember me? I was saying Johnny Party Boy, Johnny Vegas, Johnny this.
Absolutely.
I'm at least happy that they gave Hoyer a good shake, a good fair shot. He had 13 games. And in 13 games he had so-so results, and I'm being generous. Now we're going to see what Johnny Manziel can do in the last 3 games. And even may or may not be a fair shot, but at least we are getting a sampling of what he can do. We may now find out that we have to go into the NFL draft again next year trying to find another quarterback. But at least now we know, and that was the only point I was ever trying to get across, is if Hoyer's not cutting it, let's see what the next man up, and this point is being Johnny, football, see what he can do. If Johnny's not the answer, then we need, obviously, to go to another option.
Well, that's what I talked about today. I don't even care about Manziel being a part of the equation. Plain and simple, Brian Hoyer played it the way it played out. It played out the way it played out. So I'm not riding the Johnny Manziel bandwagon. I'm riding the backup quarterback bandwagon, and he happens to be the one that the Browns have chosen to be the guy that comes in next. So be it. That's what you do when you make a move.
Can I be brutally honest with you? Out of all the quarterbacks in the exhibition season, I thought Connor Shaw played the best.
Well, I hear you there too, but
I mean,
I'm difference.
I'm just saying, and I dare say,
yes, no,
he's
I understand.
Not the future.
No, I understand. I understand.
But
hey, speaking of the future, Vic, these 3 games aren't going to determine the future either, because anybody, whether you want to go through every quarterback on the back of that Browns jersey that everybody takes a picture of, all of them had 3 games where they looked good. So
right,
you're not
Charlie Fry, Thick
right,
Pen, all of them. You're exactly right.
You're not going to get your answer here about Now, you may get an answer the opposite way if he absolutely cannot perform, maybe. But other than that, you're just going to get a tease of what you can look forward to next year.
what was Marvin Lewis thinking? I mean, adding fuel to the fire, chalkboard.
Well, I got to tell you, that should scare
calling
you.
him a midget after
That should scare
we
you.
tasted the Bengals? What the hell is he smoking?
Well, I'll tell you, maybe he's not worried one bit. Maybe he said that for a reason. I was joking last night. I said maybe he knows that as bad as number 6 is, number 2 is even worse, and he's trying to goad the Browns into making the switch because he thinks that gives them a better chance than the guy who just beat his team a month ago. So maybe that's because that is the one and only argument.
That's a good point.
That I
That's
made
a very
for
good point,
Hoyer.
J-Rock. Very good
Well,
point.
seriously, because my only argument for Hoyer was that he beat the Bengals a month ago. So maybe Marv is like, look, I know that Manziel brings a spark, but he's still a rookie, and I would much rather deal with a rookie than with the guy who beat us last month, even if he's struggling. So maybe I can push the Browns over the top here by because otherwise, what was he thinking? Because you never see coaches blatantly.
You never put
insult.
that much of a chalkboard thing, you know. But
I mean, if you
someone said yesterday, and they brought up in. I don't know if this is an excuse or not, but someone said about 5 or 6 games ago, Hoyer really got hit, and he got hit hard in the head. And they were trying to say that maybe he's been concussed this past 4, 5, 6 weeks, and he's just not playing right. But the level of play and the decline of play has been dramatic. I would maybe it could be a concussion. I don't know.
Well, you know what? There could be all of these different reasons. It's everything that everybody's bringing up. The offense changed. They got out of sync. The injuries, the depth. Hoyer got defenses got used to it. All of those put together, each adds a little bit of why you ended up where you ended up. It's not one cut and dry. It's not like he woke up one day and just sucked. It's not
well,
like...
see, that's exactly my point. There has been such a marked decline, and I was grasping yesterday, trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. And the one thing, actually, two or three things, and I'll say this. And I know I've been really harsh on Hoyer, admittedly so. But when you have a prime receiver like Josh Gordon giving half-assed, not running routes, basically dogging it,
I agree,
that
sir.
doesn't help.
I agree. I agree. And I think that's something to keep in mind for Johnny. He's going to have to deal with that same thing.
When you're dealing with your fourth center, that doesn't help. When you're dealing with running backs that can't sometimes hold on to the ball, that doesn't help. It's been a myriad of things. There have been dropped passes. Benjamin in this last game, I think, dropped maybe 2 or 3.
Right. All of that.
That were right in his hands. Gordon a couple times alligator armed a couple of throws. So as harsh as I've been on Brian Hoyer, and the numbers don't lie, sometimes the numbers can be misleading, though, and I'll be the first one to admit it.
And Mike Pettin basically did what you just did yesterday. He sat there and said, listen, this, and this all exaggerates why the quarterback looks the way it does. And that is not to change. I'm going to circle this around, Vic, to how I started the last segment. I said all of this discussion out the window. If Brian Hoyer I'm not even talking about the one that Gordon didn't run full speed for. If he just hits Taylor Gabriel in stride, the Browns win that game, and he is the quarterback who lives to fight another day against the Bengals this week.
Well, actually, there were 2 of them. There were 2 long.
There was the 2, but I don't blame the other one on Hoyer. I know some people will, but I believe that Josh Gordon slowed up. I believe that Josh Gordon.
And then there was the interception that was in the end zone.
Well, that's different.
But you are correct in this point. If we had a capable field goal kicker that hits a 37, 39-yard field goal, we don't have this conversation
And
today.
you know what? Mike Pettin said that yesterday. He said the score and the record makes all the difference. Had they hit that field goal and had they won that game yesterday, they absolutely would not be changing the quarterback this week. Seriously.
Exactly. And J-Rock, I'm sure that you can tell the tone. The angst is